Welcome to my season, bow fishing, baby. It's tournament time, and in this episode, we're going to talk to you about bow fishing tournaments. But more importantly, it's going to be like a documentary of the AMS Big 30/20 Challenge bow fishing tournaments. Now, this all began back in 2010. So sit back and enjoy the history of the AMS Big 30/20 bow fishing tournaments. Bow fishing tournaments? That's right. Let's check out tournaments in general and the history of the AMS Bow Fishing Big 30/20 Challenge. So what is a bow fishing tournament? Generally in tournaments, you have a 2 to 4 person team that pays an entry fee to get into a tournament. And they're going to compete against other boats during the tournament hours. Generally, bow fishing tournaments are held at nighttime. The reason being is because there's less boat traffic. You don't have the pontoons and jet skis running around. We got these big lights for a reason, so of course, nighttime is always, like they call it, the right time for bow fishing. There are some that are held during the daytime, but the majority are all under the moon. Now you have a couple different divisions. Generally, you have a numbers division, and the teams that compete in numbers go out and they strictly just shoot as many rough fish as they can in the tournament hours. And then you also have the Big 20 divisions, or a Big 10 divisions, or a Big 30 division. And those teams are going out and coming back to weigh-ins and weighing their heaviest stringer of fish. Now those teams can shoot more fish than that, but you're going to weigh in your heaviest stringer of fish. Bow fishing tournaments are a great way to help rid the waterways of invasive species. You know, a lot of states and federal agencies spend thousands and thousands of dollars to keep these fish out of certain bodies of water, to help remove them because the numbers are just so great. And bow fishers, we do it for free. Here at AMS Bow Fishing, we've been hosting the AMS Big 20/30 challenges. And this story actually begins back in 2010 when the owners of AMS Bow Fishing, Jeff and Cindy Brown, came to me and said, Matt, we want you to find a location to host the AMS Bow Fishing tournaments. So I came up with 3 spots that I liked. I looked at Lake Chickamauga in Tennessee, Truman Reservoir in Missouri, and then the Ohio River in Kentucky. That year I went to each one of those locations and actually went to the Ohio River and competed in a tournament there with a couple of friends that I had that lived over there. And I just fell in love with the Ohio River, how big it was, the big head species that are out there in numerous numbers, and the silver carp that are out there in numerous numbers. And we actually took first place in that tournament and had a great time. And like I said, I just fell in love with it. So when I came back to the owners of AMS Bow Fishing, I said, this is where we're going to have it. So in 2011, we had the first annual AMS Bow Fishing Big 30 Challenge in Brandenburg, Kentucky, on the Ohio River, and we had 45 teams that competed in that year's challenge. One of the things that we wanted to draw the boats to the AMS tournaments is to have a large payout. And for the first several years, we had a guaranteed $5,000 first place payout, and we would pay down to like 15 spots. So that was a huge drawing interest, was the $5,000 first place money. In 2012, we were once again back in Brandenburg, Kentucky for the second annual AMS Big 30 Challenge. And that year, we had 77 teams that competed in the challenge. And it was just a great atmosphere. Met a lot of great friends there. The city really welcomed us. The mayor loved having us there. But we saw that we were getting more and more teams, and we might have to open up more waters. In 2013, we decided to move the tournament from Brandenburg, Kentucky to Henderson, Kentucky, because we saw that we were getting more and more teams showing up, and we thought we might need to have more water so there's not so much crowding on the waters. So we opened up Kentucky Lake, Barkley Lake, the Cumberland and Tennessee rivers, the Mississippi River, and it also gave us the teams more species of fish to go target as well. And that year, we had 86 teams that competed in the AMS Big 30 Challenge. Having the AMS tournaments in Kentucky were great, great people. The atmosphere was wonderful, met a lot of great friends there. But you know, there was just something missing because AMS Bowfishing is headquartered out of Wisconsin. So we decided in 2014 to bring the AMS Big 30 Challenge back to our home state and held it at the Toma Fairgrounds for the 4th annual AMS Big 30 Challenge, and 88 teams showed up to compete in that year's challenge. So a lot of the teams that compete in bowfishing tournaments, you know, they'll come in a whole week ahead of time and they're doing a bunch of scouting. We'll get teams that travel from Texas, Kansas, Iowa, Missouri, Kentucky, North Dakota, South Dakota, Michigan, Iowa. So they're coming in to look to see where those fish are, and they're also bringing in a lot of revenue to those cities. They're spending a lot of money on gas, motels, and foods and restaurants. So it's a great way to bring in revenue to the local towns as well. Once we brought the AMS Big 30 Challenge back to our home state in Wisconsin, we made some changes with the rules. Like for example, here in Wisconsin, the teams could travel to any public waters in the state of Wisconsin. They had to use a public boat landing. There were several rules that they had to follow. And people might say, well, how do you keep track of all that stuff that boats don't leave the state or they don't shoot the fish the night before? Well, we actually have a polygraph tester that would come in and they would polygraph the top 3 placing teams and the team that shot the heaviest overall fish. In 2015, we were once again back at the Toma Fairgrounds, and that year we had 97 teams compete in the AMS Big 30 Challenge. In 2016, we decided to move the tournament once again to the Marshfield Fairgrounds, which was only 10 miles away from the AMS shop. That way we didn't have to travel so far with all the employees. We didn't have to haul trailers down with all the prizes and the UTVs and ATVs and the cones for setting up the parking spots, the scales for weigh-ins and stuff like that there. So it just made it a lot easier. And that year we had 104 teams compete in the AMS Big 30 Challenge. And that year the teams weighed in 44,300 pounds of rough fish. Now that's just what the teams weighed in. Altogether, the total weight of fish that were brought back that year was a staggering 145,528 pounds of rough fish removed from the Wisconsin waterways that year. We could tell that the AMS Big 30 Challenge was becoming a premier tournament for teams to compete in. And it was very coveted, you know, to win first place in the AMS tournaments. And we had more and more teams showing up. And we knew we had to change something because it's a very grueling tournament. You know, it's an all-night tournament. The teams leave at 6 p.m. on Saturday night, and they return Sunday morning by 8 a.m. to weigh their fish in. And the teams were weighing in 30 fish. Now, even though we had 3 weigh-in sites, it was just taking a long time to weigh those 30 fish. So we had to make things move along a little bit faster. So we decided in 2018 to make it the AMS Big 20 Challenge. So the teams weighed in their heaviest 20 fish instead of 30 fish, and that moved things right along. And that year, we had 120 teams that competed in the AMS Big 20 Challenge. Once again, it was time for a change, and in 2021, we wanted to make a big change, really big. So since 2012, we had a guaranteed $5,000 payout to the top placing team. So we want to make a big splash that year and change things up, so we thought, why not have it a $10,000 first place guaranteed? So that year we had 87 teams that competed. for the AMS Big 20 Challenge. Throughout the years of hosting bowfishing tournaments, you see what's working, what's not working, what can be improved on. Because like I said, the AMS Big 20 is one of the premier tournaments in the nation for teams to come to. And when you have teams traveling, 1,000 miles, 1,200 miles to shoot in your tournament, you want them to remember it. You want them to walk away saying, that's a great tournament. They enjoyed it, they had a good time. So in 2022, we made another big change. We thought, wouldn't it be cool to have the AMS Bowfishing Tournament right here at the AMS facilities in Stratford, Wisconsin. We're up here in the industrial park. We've got large road systems. We've got a large parking area. We're out here in the country, so we don't have to worry about any traffic backups or any traffic jams. So that's what we did. In 2022, we brought the AMS Big 20 back here to Stratford, Wisconsin. We had the local Boy Scouts grilling up brats and food. We have a local coffee shop come up on Sunday mornings for weigh-ins that brings hot coffee and breakfast sandwiches. And the atmosphere was awesome. I've been competing in bowfishing tournaments since 2009, and started out locally right here in Wisconsin, shooting in the Wisconsin Bowfishing Association tournaments. And from there just kind of ventured out and shooting in a lot of the big tournaments across the country, like the Great Lakes Championship in Michigan, the Bass Pro tournaments in Tennessee and Missouri and all those different states. And then also competing in the Bowfishing Association of America World Championships. In fact, in 2016, we actually won that tournament that was held in Kentucky that year. So, you learn a lot, you meet a lot of great friends, and it was just so cool to finally just start hosting our own tournaments and let other people enjoy the tournament atmosphere. And once again this year, we're right back here at the AMS facility for the 12th annual AMS Big 20, and the atmosphere was just wonderful. The people were buzzing, there was great excitement in the air. We had 87 teams that competed this year, and one cool thing is you take 87 boats and trucks in here in the industrial park, and we had all those boats out of here in 7 minutes and on the road and headed to their honey holes. And then weigh-ins, we had the weigh-ins right up here, and like I said earlier, it's a grueling tournament. Teams are tired, they want to get out of here as quick as they can. And we actually start weigh-ins at 6 in the morning. The boats have to be back here at 8 in the morning. And we actually had all those teams weighed in by 8:45 in the morning. So we did the awards and all the teams were out of here by 10:30 in the morning. The AMS Big 20 definitely is one that you need to come to. We take great pride in hosting this tournament. And we can't thank all the teams throughout all these years that have competed in the AMS Big 30/20s. Thank you so much, and to the AMS crew, hats off to them. They're the ones that are running the scale, doing registrations, making sure the flow is just perfect and stuff. The Boy Scouts for coming down here and grilling up brats and stuff like that there. So if you want to join us, make sure to register for next year's AMS Big 20. You'll have a great time, you'll meet some great people, and we'll see if you have what it takes to win $10,000.
We gotta go big or go home. we're down to the gold. Never been a better time to put it all on the line. Ooh, yeah. Time to put it all on the line. Yeah. Win big. Time to put it all on the line. Yeah, put it all. Win big. Gonna get crazy, nothing good ever comes easy. Waited for this moment for a long time. All this pain became a friend of mine. Yeah, that was such a